Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth Shaw and this channel is all about the narcissistic personality disorder to give you more understanding of the kinds of people you might be dealing with and different ways to recover from narcissistic abuse. This video is why most narcissistic people are incapable of admitting fault or saying I'm sorry. Most of us, either during the narcissistic relationship or coming away from a narcissistic relationship, just don't understand why they cannot just give us an apology for their behaviour. And it's an extremely hard thing to do, to forgive people that can't even admit they are sorry, yet it is possible. It's extremely hard to begin to understand why some people can hurt us so badly, cause so much pain, and most of us just want an apology, 2 little words, I'm sorry, and they are simply incapable of giving one. And if you are lucky enough to get one, it's usually fake to meet a need of their own or twisted into something you didn't even do. If you hadn't, I wouldn't. Kind of responses from them. You just cannot get a straight, genuine apology from some people. Now, not all people that will not say I'm sorry are narcissistic. Most people who've been around one are programmed to say sorry, even for the things that they haven't even done. Most people do not enjoy admitting fault and saying sorry, especially if they've unintentionally hurt someone or made a genuine mistake. It's hard to swallow pride and admit fault sometimes. It's even harder to admit wrongdoings when you know full well how you'd feel if someone had done that to you. Fear of reactions, fear of hurting them, or fear of losing them. Narcissistic people only fear what might happen to them, what they will lose, how they will be perceived. They are not concerned for how the other person feels or the pain it will cause. So they will not feel the need to admit fault, and definitely no need to apologise, as in their mind, most of them believe they've done nothing wrong. Not giving you an apology is also further manipulation to our emotions. We are left feeling hurt, angry, and wondering why people cannot care enough to say those 2 little words correctly. So what makes it impossible for these narcissistic people to just say, I'm sorry? The act of saying sorry to someone for something that you did wrong means actually admitting fault of your own actions or your own mistakes that you have made. For narcissistic people who believe they are above all others, they want dominance, they want control. The act of admitting wrongdoing on a permanent basis is not possible. They might do in a moment to meet a need, however, most don't, and those who do will either blame it for something that we did, or a few days later they forget that they ever even said sorry. To be able to admit what we've done, when we've done something wrong, means having a certain level of self-esteem, which is good information for us, as most of us are left with self-blame due to the manipulative words fed to us by a narcissist. Most of us can admit our faults though, and even those that are not our faults. Meaning, when you leave believing you have no self-esteem, we do actually have some to start building ourselves back up. Narcissists, although they'll never admit it, are deeply insecure people and find it a great challenge to say sorry, as admitting fault within themselves would destroy their entire self-worth and the false reality that they've created to who they are. Admitting that they make mistakes and hurt others and are human would open floodgates to a whole reservoir of emotions that they are trying their best to keep so deeply hidden. The shame and the inadequacy, the vulnerabilities that they keep hidden deeply within would be opened up, not only for them to see, but for others to see. They don't have the empathy to care that they hurt us or that they hurt anyone. Some have little empathy, so they might in a moment care, yet that moment is very quickly lost. They don't class our hurt as their fault. They see our hurt as ours, and that's for us to deal with, not for them. To be able to say sorry, people need to be vulnerable and admit to fault or mistakes of their own actions that potentially hurt other people. And this is far too scary for narcissistic people. They've buried their feelings deep, and it's far too painful to bring them up, as this would leave them open to feelings of pain. It would damage their pride and their ego, their false reality they've created for themselves. They deeply fear not being perfect. Making mistakes is part of human nature. It's how we learn. Failure is our first attempt in learning, and failing to recognise it at any point means we as humans do not learn. With empathy and thoughts and feelings towards others, it's easy to not do something to hurt another person in the first place. As most narcissistic people are missing that empathy, they never see it from how it would make another person feel, only how others might perceive them. Why they will start the smear campaign to avoid any feelings of shame, blaming all others and getting their enablers and flying monkeys to give them attention and support whilst destroying the true victim. We might have once been that enabler ourselves, believing the narcissist lies so well, as their lies are their reality. They tell them so convincingly. It's only once we are out we realise we too were duped by them. Why there is no point holding on to any judgment or resentment to the new person. One day they will painfully see, just like us unfortunately had to do, what they are dealing with. More understanding and more awareness will help, rather than more negativity towards other people. There are enough negative, narcissistic people in the world without us also turning into negative people. This is why we can heal and move forward within our lives. We can see errors that we make. We can be vulnerable. We can admit to our mistakes, to ourselves and to those we trust. We have the ability to learn and grow from our mistakes. Part of human needs, part of what we need to do is growth to keep ourselves developing. This is why narcissistic people stay stuck in a pattern of repeat, hurting themselves without realising it and hurting those around them. They are either unable or unwilling to ever look at themselves for the mistakes they make, meaning they can simply never learn from them, as they are never growing in a positive way and they are stuck in that negative woe is me mindset. Narcissistic people enjoy the havoc they wreak on others' lives. That high dopamine rush they get from all the drama leaves them addicted to the drama. Why it's hard for us to break free also. Living with the high-low cycles of narcissistic abuse releases dopamine from the highs and cortisol from the stress, causing our bodies to become chemically addicted. Like breaking any addiction, you need to know the reason why you want to break it, and you need to know the outcome you want. If you start missing the narcissist, focus on the reason why you need to either get out or why you need to stay out, and the positive outcomes that you want from your life now. You don't need to know the way as such. Your mind will find a way. Just taking those baby steps. When it knows your why and your outcome, you will find a way. No contact helps massively. If that's not possible, then it's limited contact and finding new hobbies, creating new routines to fill your time up in positive ways. Narcissistic people have a fear of loss, not of actually losing you, more a fear of losing what you provide for them. Where we wouldn't put ourselves in a situation that might mean we'd hurt someone we love. Or if you have in the past, remember that we do make mistakes, but most of us learn from that behaviour and never do it again. Most of us feel guilty and admit fault and say sorry, then change our behaviour so as not to hurt another person again. Narcissistic people believe they are entitled to do as they please. They don't lie to protect your feelings. They lie in case they don't like the choice you make after you find out. Then no longer serve their needs. Why, if they do get caught, they will try many manipulations to make you suffer, from provoking you, not answering your questions, causing arguments so they can blame it all on our reactions and they can play victim, to the silent treatment, which makes us feel more pain and reach out to that very person for that apology, explanations to end our pain and suffering. If the narcissist has no other source available, they might promise change or offer to go to counselling. They know we are forgiving people, and once we forgive, they are straight back to doing it all over again. They are just incapable of learning respect, morals, trust, empathy, or care towards other people. A narcissist would have to admit to so many mistakes and open up to so many vulnerabilities to truly change who they are. And as they see themselves as perfect and it would crush their already damaged self-esteem, most are incapable of doing so. They change reality. They change the stories. They change the partners. They change their homes. They can never change themselves. To narcissistic people, acknowledging or admitting any wrongdoings makes them feel weak. What they don't realise is this very effort to not feel weak actually makes them weak, destructive, unhappy individuals, often pushing all those around them away one by one, growing old, and most ending up alone. Admitting to mistakes and having the ability to care and respond to others in the right way, most people can unintentionally hurt someone's feelings, and when they do, they recognise it, see how they've made someone else feel, and apologise and make sure they don't do it again. Admitting any errors in judgment, any mistakes, is being respectful and compassionate towards ourselves and towards others. That's true confidence within ourselves and our abilities, true empathy towards our feelings and other people's feelings. It is not a weakness to recognise your own faults, it's a strength. Now, this doesn't mean take responsibility for other people's wrongdoings. That needs to stop now, and responsibility needs passing back to the rightful owner. To summarise, a narcissist does not have the empathy to care. They do not have the thought process to understand how their actions would hurt another before they act. They feel no remorse after they act. They cannot admit faults as this would damage their ego and their pride and their false self that they've created. They cannot open up to their own vulnerabilities or insecurities, therefore they do not have the ability to acknowledge how their actions make others feel. They do not feel the need to say sorry, as in their distorted reality they've done no wrong, and any problems in their life are always someone else's fault. Don't wait around for a sorry. If you get one, it's just to further manipulate you to meet their own needs. Instead, learn who they are and why they do what they do. Understand what you're dealing with. Give yourself the apology and the forgiveness for putting up with the behaviour you should have walked away from, yet didn't know what you were dealing with and tried your best to help them. You are a good person. Focus on new dreams, a new happier life for you. Know your outcome, know your why, and then keep going until you find your way. Steps back and mistakes along the way are allowed. It's what makes us human. No one is perfect. You can and you will heal and recover from this. You do not need, I know it might feel like you need an apology from them, but you do not need an apology from them. You just need to give yourself that apology. Let them go, release all the pain and move on with your life for you, creating new dreams, new visions for where you would like to be in 6 months from now, next year from now, and then taking those daily baby steps to get yourself there and live a much more happier, positive life. Thank you for listening. Bye.